Good morning and welcome to the At Home with Roby show. I'm Ashley Davis along with Trent Haston, President and CEO of the Roby family of companies. We're your hosts. Thanks for spending your Sunday morning with us. Whether you're in the car or on the couch, you're always at home with Roby. Visit us today at andrewroby.com. Trent, we've got a great show in store for everyone today. We're about, looking at the clock, we're about 4 hours away from kickoff from the first Panthers home game of the season. So we're going to talk a little Panthers football, whether you're out at the game or at home, how you can watch it best. We'll also be joined later by former Panther football player Damian Lewis. He was here. He played at St. Louis. He's moved all around the country. He's going to talk about why he moved back to Charlotte. Now he's working for the Charlotte 49ers as a color analyst. So there's a lot of things happening today in Charlotte, Trent. There is.
It's a big time of the year. Fall's in the air. Good time. Love tailgating. The Panthers, I'm partial to the Panthers. They brought sports back to Charlotte in a big way, and then Michael came back and brought the Hornets back to town. So this is kind of, in my opinion, the start of good sports for about 9 months in Charlotte.
Yeah, now you have AAA baseball. When I grew up in Shelby, we talked a lot about you growing up in town. When we were kids, it was the NWA. That was the biggest professional sport just about in town. And we had the minor league baseball team, but it's come a long way since Ric Flair and Blackjack Mulligan.
Okay, so before we got on the air earlier, you were talking about Jack Blanchett and Black and Macho Libre or something, and you go pull a Ric Flair on me. I remember going and seeing the Four Horsemen, led by old Arn Anderson out there. At the, I think it was my dad took me and my brother and a couple buddies. I was probably in the third grade out to Westmeck High School. And they came out and did a match on the football field on a Saturday. So that's old school Charlotte. That's our old sporting events. Now you got to get all primped up and go out and skip church and go out there and tailgate a little while on Sundays.
Now they don't. A lot of people don't even go to the game. They just tailgate and then they go home.
I've done that. I'm guilty of that.
Yeah.
The crazy thing is, growing up, if I ever did get to go to Hornets games, and my dad would get tickets from clients and stuff a couple times, we sat in the nosebleed.
Yeah.
I just want to be in the building.
Yeah.
And then a couple of times they had the ACC tournament. Basketball would come here at the new old Coliseum. And then I remember going, they used to have who remembers this? They used to have an ACC basketball all-star game every year. Kenny Smith and Jeff Lebo and Joe Wolf, my beloved Tar Heels, used to come to town. And, man, if I could get in the building, I was excited. Now, where I'm going with this, now my kids, they only go sit in the in the blue section or the sweet section or whatever you call it. They don't know what
they want to see the tickets before you get in the car, right?
Their nose has never bled. So, and they, I don't know if I've ever said this, but I take them to school every day, my two oldest, and I'm very blessed that I get to do that. My wife lets me do it. But where we come from at our house, we drive through the airport every day because they've been reworking the roads. And every day we talk about, if I go up, you can go to the airport. You go up, you're arriving to the airport to fly somewhere, and if you go down, you're picking somebody up. And I say, y'all want to go or y'all want to come home? And they say, oh, and they've been talking about Disney World, and I would have never even spoke the words out of my mouth when I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was trying to get to ghost town up in the mountains.
With Tweetsie Railroad.
Yeah,
that was big time when I was a kid. That and Myrtle Beach, which we
I think for 8 years I told all my friends I got shot in the leg at Tweetsie Railroad. Like literally. And I convinced myself.
I'll tell you, in a previous life I used to travel all the time, so I got a lot of status and upgrades and things. My kid, my oldest son, who just turned 6 this month, my youngest turned 4, actually on Friday, a couple of days ago, he turned 4 years old. But for the first probably 10 times he flew, he was in first class. First time we didn't get upgraded, we walked to the back. He said, Daddy, we passed our seats.
Well, I'm in a couple business groups with some pretty cool people that travel a lot, and I always give them a high five on the way to the back of the plane.
Yeah, I'm firmly in the back now. But that was always pretty funny. You want to know where the snacks were. But talk about football earlier, changes in Charlotte, sports. There's another sport in town. Big day yesterday. You got to throw things perfectly, score some points. That's cornhole. You had a big day out at Freedom Park yesterday.
Yeah, I think we had more people than West Meck had for the Four Horsemen match. back in '84. But no, we had a great day. This is a big year for us with the monies raised, and it's just it's awesome. And remembering my dad, that he bought in, he was a big part. We're a contracting firm, throwing cornhole to raise in 8 years for charity as an incubator. We're the facilitator. I'm the promoter. My company uses our brand and our resources to promote it. And this year we surpassed this year at this event. We'll have an event in a month in Raleigh, hopefully to raise $50,000. But this year we raised another $200,000. Third year in a row, we've been within $1,000 or $2 of $200,000, and that takes us for 8 years over $1 million raised for charity, mostly for Make-A-Wish.
That is unbelievable. It goes to Make-A-Wish of Central and Western North Carolina. If you're not familiar with that, go online, Google it, check it out. It's amazing what they're doing. We all hear the stories of what happens with these kids. They get to go to Disney World. They get to go meet Cam Newton. But when you meet the families, Trent, and I know you're a wish granter, it changes your life.
No, it really does. And I have 4 children, and being able to, without throwing it in my kids' face, educate my kids passively so that hopefully in 5 years, 7 years, 10 years, and 30 years, they'll come back and say, man, my dad, we went to that fun, great thing at Freedom Park, and we were raising money, and $200,000 was raised. I don't need to throw that down their face. Something my dad did well with me is he'd plant a seed. He was very patient. He'd let it come back, and I'd have an aha moment at some point later in my life. And that's what I hope happens with my kids and with the Charlotte community as well.
And that's the great thing, people getting involved all across the community. Okay, Trent, when we come back, we'll continue our conversation. We'll go back, talk a little bit about Panthers football. We're going to talk about media rooms and everything that Andrew Roby can do to make the perfect spot for you on Sunday afternoon if you can't make it out to the game. You're listening to the At Home with Roby show. Visit us today at andrewroby.com. That's andrewroby.com. Stay with us. We'll be right back.